first time you run the Proxinator, you won't have a faculty list because it won't know who your teachers are. And of course you won't have students because it doesn't know who your students are. So the first process really is to collect that information. There shouldn't be any need for you to type that in yourself. You probably already have it. So you can probably obtain a list like this one from someone in your building. We have here a list of the teacher's last name, first name, their email address, and department. Now, in one of our test schools, they didn't actually have the departments listed in the same places that the email were listed. So someone went ahead and just filled in the departments of the people they knew, and then the secretary was able to fill in the rest. Now, we are organizing our faculty into a few categories. Notice the very first line of this is not the heading, last name, first name, email address, and department. Instead, the first line is star teachers, because all of these people are teachers. And then after that, we have our subs. So the reason for this is because the program wants to know who are considered permanent subs in the building and who are considered teachers, because maybe you have a way of treating them differently. For instance, some schools might give the permanent subs more proctoring responsibilities than the regular full-time teaching staff. Teacher assistants may also be handled differently. Perhaps they have a different number of assignments, and maybe there are teacher aides that are given different responsibilities. You don't need to have all of these categories, but you might want to use more than one of them. So just be aware of that simple format. Star teachers, then list all your teachers. Star teaching assistants, star subs, star teacher aides. And it should be in that order that you see here. And this file actually, if you recognize the names, does not come from any school. Of course not. Rafael Nadal is not, in fact, a phys ed teacher in my building. This is just a made-up list, and we have this sample on the website just for the purpose of demonstrating the format of the list, so you can give this to whoever handles this kind of data in your school and say, hey, can you give me a list in exactly this format? The program can then import it. In addition to that list, we're also going to need a list of students. So the student list is a little simpler. First name, last name, and the grade. You could have a graduation year here instead. That's really up to you. It doesn't really matter. The program will understand either format. Once the program imports your list, it's going to save the graduation year, because this way, after 1 year of using the software, that student who's a senior will be removed, and this student who is a freshman will be understood to be a sophomore. So it makes it easier. This way you don't have to import a student list every year. The next time you use the program the following year, all you need to add are the new freshmen, maybe remove the seniors, and then you're all set. We'd expect the faculty to hopefully remain relatively constant from year to year, and so this is a process you need to do mostly the first time you use the software, and then it's going to remember it. Okay, so we have from someone that handles the database in our school a list of first name, last name, and grade of the students that we want to incorporate into our proctoring schedule. Most of the time, these are students with some special testing accommodations. So we don't have that information here, but we do have the names of the kids, and then we'll change their properties once we're in the program. And now it's time to tell the program about the students and the faculty. So we have a list of teachers that's blank here. We're about to fill it in. We go to Faculty, and we choose Import Faculty List. And now it's looking for that CSV file that we just looked at. We're going to open that file, and it should recognize the format and put everyone in the right category. So these are all of our teachers. In the bottom, it lists them here alphabetically. Then we have a list of some faculty members that are not teachers. And we can right-click on any of these people and just take a look at their properties to see that this one is a teaching assistant. This person here is also a teaching assistant. And we see what department all these people are into. The faculty members that are teachers also have a department associated with them. And there's a couple of properties that the faculty members are given that were not in the spreadsheet. There's a default number of assignments everyone has, and everyone's given a unique ID number. So you don't really need to worry about the ID number. That's just for the program to keep track of people. But the number of assignments, that you probably do need to worry about. So maybe everyone gets the same number of assignments, or maybe there's a different rule for a different department because of some logistics in your building. So we might, for instance, change the number of assignments for everybody to be 8. And we did that just by right-clicking on the All Alpha button right up here, and we chose Set Max Assignments, and it let us do that. Now, in addition to the 8 assignments given to everybody, maybe, because of some other responsibilities, the science department has less. They only have 6. Now, it didn't update that counter here that we see, but if we go to faculty and we choose Update Assignment Count, then it reflects it. And we notice that our science teacher here, Akira Suzuki, has only 6 assignments, whereas Terrence Tao, an esteemed member of our math department, he has 8 assignments. Now for students. Under students, we will choose Import Students. We're going to go ahead to that same file we looked at before. Student list, comma separated value, just means it's a generic data format, not specific to Excel. Excel opens it. You can save it as a CSV file in Excel, and almost any database management software your school uses can export to that generic format, CSV, comma separated value. Import it. We've got 31 students, and we're ready to do it. Okay, let's take a look at them. View student list. Now, none of these kids have testing accommodations loaded because that wasn't part of the file. So the next step might be to go ahead and input the values that they have. Maybe this student has 1.5 or 2. This is the amount of time that they're given for exams. We might call this time dilation. So a student with 2.0 gets twice the amount of time as your typical education student. A student with 1.5 is given 3 hours to complete a 2-hour exam, and so on. And then we have various testing accommodations. Now, when we mouse over these, we see what the shortcut stands for. DR stands for directions read. Then we have TR for test read, directions clarified, test clarified, and a scribe. W stands for writer, but that's usually called a scribe. So maybe this student with 2.0 time gets the directions read and the test read. This student with 2.0 gets the directions read and directions clarified and the test clarified. And this student here with 1.0, he only gets a writer. The student is perfectly fine on his own, except because of a handicap in his hand, he needs to have someone do the writing for him. And we just go ahead and make whatever changes we need to make. This is the type of thing you probably would need to double and triple check. We recommend only one person do the editing, but we're sure more than one person is going to need to take a look at this. So there's a simple print button right here. You'll get a print output of it. If you have a virtual printer, you can print to a PDF file and email it around the building, or send it out in regular paper and then have people comment on it. The print output looks exactly like the screen in front of us right now. And then people can just make sure that everything is correct and we're not missing any students that should be on this list. If we are, we're just going to click Add Students, and we'll go ahead and put them in there. The Add Students goes to the bottom. We can now double-click, add a new guy. And make sure we have the correct graduation year, correct time dilation, and whatever testing accommodations that time the student needs. When we X out of this window, it automatically saves that. So it remembers those students. Next time we take a look at it, we can view it, and our new kid, time to student, there he is. Okay. It didn't alphabetize them, though. It kept them in the same order. So just like Excel, you can sort by a column. We can click on last, and now it's going to sort everybody by last name. It ended up putting a blank student here first, because when you click Add Students, it adds just 2 columns in once. Not really a big deal. That blank student just will be removed when we open the program again next time. We have our faculty. We have our students. The next step is to start making exams.